MMA, ser det greit ut? Ja? Ok.
Sweet.
Nice.
Det er veldig viktig å liksom ha god kontakt med crewet bak her. Pass på at lydmannen ikke får liksom den andre greia mikrofonen inn på.
Stemmer. Vi kommer godt med, ja. Det er flott. Er vi klare til å begynne?
Ja.
Åja, da har vi begynt å filme. Konge. All right. It's time.
It is.
It's Shakakapow Halloween time! Alright!
Yet again.
Alright. Hello everyone and welcome back to this year's Shakakapow Halloween. And I am KH.
I'm Jahn.
You are?
Yes.
And we are doing this year's first Halloween video.
We are.
So tell us, Jahn, what are we doing today?
Well, we're not doing exactly what we do usually around Halloween, which is to play scary board games.
It's kind of scary.
Well,
almost. For some people.
Yeah, for some people. But what we're doing this year is we're playing a miniatures game.
That's true.
Yes. Different kind of complexity level, I would say.
Yes, more complex than probably everything we've played on the channel.
Yeah, definitely. That being said, we haven't played too many very complex board games.
That's true.
But this is a step up.
Yeah, and this is again gonna be kind of like our Resident Evil 2 video. This is after 4 games. And it's kind of like a first impressions video and what we think so far, and we'll come back and make another video once we've played through some campaigns. Yeah. Now, I think it is a fitting game for Halloween. Like, you have these cool cannibal guys that eat people.
They do. They really do.
So I think the theme is actually quite fitting. But on that note, why don't you tell us just a little bit about Necromunda and maybe just Warhammer in general?
Well, Warhammer in general is what you would call grim dark. It's grim and it's dark and there is no hope for the future. Everything is bleak.
Just like 2025.
Kinda, yeah. Only we hope that 2026 is going to get better. For them, this is as good as it gets. Necromunda is set on a planet in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, and it's a planet where there are a lot of gangs that, well, fight for survival and for resources, and because they can.
And they're fighting like deep underground, right?
Yeah, so Necromunda is, or the original setting for Necromunda is in a city that they call Hive Primus, and it's in a Hive City, which is this pretty bleak dystopian kind of city where it reaches well into the stratosphere. But the further down you go, the lower your status is. And the gangs on Necromunda are pretty far down.
Yeah.
So this is where the gangs are pretty much fighting for survival.
Just kind of probably a little bit Mad Max inspired, right?
Maybe, yeah.
And that's the vibe I get from this.
Yeah, it looks very Mad Max 2000 AD.
Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Especially with these guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this particular, these particular gangs are from the Dark Uprising box set. So is all this terrain. So it's a fairly good value for money. You get a lot of stuff in the box. You need everything you need to play the game.
Yeah, because you do get like a rule book for the campaign as well, and you don't do you need the other rule book? Would you say you need the core book?
No. So what you get from the core rule book is you get all the rules, including how to play games with vehicles, games that are set outside of the city. And you also get a very extensive list of equipment and weapons and things like that. This is a little bit more condensed, but it gives you everything you need to play with the Palanite Enforcers and the Corpse Grinder cults, which are the two gangs in the Dark Uprising book. You also get rules for playing a campaign in this particular fashion. There are a couple of different kinds of campaigns you can play. So yeah, it gives you all the stuff you need to play, and you get more miniatures than you need to start a gang.
Yeah.
So you have extra miniatures for when you're adding to your gang as your campaign goes on.
And you have so much terrain with this set.
Yeah, a fair bit, yeah.
The other sets I've seen, at least the ones I've seen, they don't have this much terrain.
They do not, no. Well...
Some probably have.
Yeah, but Necromunda requires a lot of terrain. You need a lot of cover for people to hide behind and so on. And the game just generally feels better when there's a lot of terrain on the board. It looks better.
It looks better too.
Yeah.
Also, our really cool set here is painted, but obviously the game doesn't come painted. You have to put everything together, and you have to paint everything, and then you can play.
Yes, exactly.
So you don't get I think this is the reason why I tend to play more board games than miniatures games, because I don't have much time. It's practical for me to just open stuff up and just get straight to the gaming.
Yeah, it requires significantly more effort to get this on the table. And it does come with a mat, but generally the game is recommended to be played on a bigger mat than the mat that comes in the box.
We forgot to put the mat up for this game. Well, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter much, no.
Oh yeah, and also I haven't painted the miniatures myself. These were painted by a friend. Courtesy of Alling. Did a great job on these miniatures and all the terrain as well.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So what do you think of Necromunda?
I really like it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I've liked Necromunda for a very long time. This is not the first edition of Necromunda.
What edition did we play, or have the ones we've played? What edition is this? Third, fourth?
I think it gets a bit complicated.
Okay.
It's the current edition. Let's put it that way, because the game was originally released many years ago, and then there was like a Necromunda game, updated rules kind of thing, re-release. There's this re-release, which came with its original rule book, which now has an updated rule book. So I'm honestly not certain
how many incarnations.
What edition you would call this.
And how often do they change these core rule books and editions? Do you know, like if you buy a set, how long is it like relevant until you have to change your rules?
It depends a little bit. The Dark Uprising is a self-contained box that you can just play with its own rules, and you don't need to update the rule books because they're relatively similar. There are some rules that get improved, changed.
Sometimes improved.
And the big advantage to this book, which is the newest one compared to the older one, you can see it's quite significantly thicker.
Way bigger,
is because it contains a lot of rules that get introduced in later publications.
Yeah, exactly.
So it collects some other things in one place.
When did this come out? Do you remember?
2016 maybe?
Yeah, so it's quite old
for a while, yeah. But it's still going strong. It's still relevant. They're still releasing things.
Yeah.
If not very much, they are still supporting the game. So it is still alive.
Yeah, I thought also it was a very fun game, and I like the setting as well. It's very cool, and it's it's dystopian. It's a little bit Mad Maxy, and it's also a little bit silly, but fun in a fun way.
It is, yeah.
But that you can say that about most Warhammer stuff.
Yeah, Warhammer tends to be. It doesn't take itself that seriously. It's
but
very
at the same
sarcasm,
time, it kind of does sometimes, and it's really cool and dark and grim. But
yeah, it's just over the top.
Yeah, over the top is a nice way of putting it.
Unapologetically over the top.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ok, så nå bare løfter jeg døra. Sånn. Nei. Se her. Jahn. Vent litt. Vent litt. What? Hvor kult er ikke det? Okay, so do you want to just give like a short, I don't know, like explain a little bit how this works?
Yeah. So when you play a game of Necromunda, the first thing you do is you build yourself a gang. There are extensive rules for how to build your gang, but we're not going to get into that. The point is you need to sort of get together your minis, figure out their cost in credits, which is like the points cost, and then you bring them to the table. When you play a game of Necromunda, you generally choose a scenario, and the scenario will give you victory conditions. It might give you conditions for getting experience points. Your gang has a reputation. There's quite a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
When you play the game, you alternate activating one figure each, but there are rules that allow you to activate multiple figures in one go. And
it's mainly like we've played 3-player games as well, but it's mostly common to play 2-player.
I feel like it's mostly common as a 2-player game, but there are definitely rules for playing more players. The problem with playing more players is that the game is relatively rules heavy.
Yeah.
And
might take a lot more time.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think it's a lot of fun, but it is an investment in time. And of course, somebody has to read the rules. Can you show that heavy book? Just just how big it is, and how thick it is, and it's quite. I mean, thick.
I've had subjects and books from university that weren't that thick.
Exactly. Although to be fair, a portion of this book is about history of Necromunda, describing the setting and things like that. But there are a lot of rules to this game.
And would you say you need to like memorize?
No,
a lot, or you can just like you've put some markers here and there to just like quickly.
So you don't need to remember all the rules, but there are several rules that are important to know, such as like rules for cover, rules for combat and things like that, and how everything, the basic rules work. And it's an advantage to learn special rules for your weapons that you use, or for your gang. And there are a lot of special abilities and rules and things like that.
And that's the cool thing about this game, in my opinion, because you can do so many things. You can do so many different things that you normally wouldn't be able to do in a regular board game.
Yeah, there's a lot of uniqueness to each of the gangs, and I think a lot of that comes from the rules, because they all feel differently, like they play differently. And they have different options for weapons, and they have all sorts of different things.
Like what did I do? I like hit some guy with something, and he was pinned down.
Yeah.
But if I hit him with another of my units in melee combat, he would get up and punch my guy.
Oh, that's just a basic rule.
But that's what I mean. Like, but if I shot him, he would still be pinned.
Yeah.
And there's so many like cool little things about this that you don't normally get these kind of details in other
No.
tactical combat games or board games with miniatures.
That's sort of the upside to all the rules.
Exactly. That's my point. Like,
yeah,
it is a bit rule heavy and complex, but that complexity is also really nice because it enriches the game.
yeah. I mean, I think so.
I think so too.
But I mean, it's not gonna be for everyone.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Mm.
It is not the most beginner-friendly miniatures game I've ever played, because of how rules-heavy it is.
Yeah, there are a couple of pros and cons. Like, if you're into tactical strategy combat games like this, turn-based games, if you're an XCOM fan,
Yeah,
Tannhauser fan, if you've only played board games but you want something more complex, I would say this is worth investing in.
Yeah.
But the cons are you cannot play it out of the box. You have to paint. You have to assemble everything.
Yeah.
And you need equipment to do all that stuff too. And
Yeah,
you need
you
to
do.
buy paint. You need to have the right equipment to assemble all the figures.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of work. But I mean, for a lot of people, that's half the fun.
That's part of the hobby.
You do this
Yeah,
as a hobby.
I do. Yeah.
I pay other people to paint my stuff. I just want to play the game. So I mean, it kind of depends what you like. Yeah, and another nice thing about, like, if you have a set like this, like the Dark Uprising set, and you have one friend to play it with, and if you guys play the campaign, you're gonna little by little you're gonna get familiar with the game. You're gonna get familiar with the rules and your gang and their special abilities.
Yeah.
So yeah, the rules. There are a lot of rules, and there are a lot to like have in mind when you're trying to play the game and learn it. But like, it's not like you have to know absolutely everything.
No.
As you start. So you learn. It's a learning curve, and you learn
Yeah.
things by playing it a little by a little.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, the game, even the basic rules are fairly complex. Like, I counted through in my head how many dice rolls, if you're shooting at someone, how many dice rolls could you possibly end up doing? And it's a lot.
Yeah.
Because you have to. And just as an example here, if you're shooting at another figure, you have to roll to hit.
Mm.
And you have to roll an ammo die.
Yeah.
And if that ammo die rolls out of ammo, you have to do an ammo check. The guy, if you hit the guy, they get pinned, and then you have to roll to wound.
Mm.
If you wound, you roll a save. If you fail the save, you roll an injury. Now we're on 6 rolls.
Yeah.
And if you take the person out of action, you also do a lasting injury roll if you're playing a campaign
Did
game.
you take into account all the rolls the other person does to prevent you? Yeah, this was all of them.
7 rolls.
7 rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If everything goes through.
Mm.
Which it gets relatively intuitive after playing a while, but it's a lot.
And then on that, like, if you like rolling dice, and it is somewhat luck based, I would say, after 4 games where I've been like so unlucky.
Yeah, that is entirely true.
I mean, I would say over the average level amount of being unlucky. I'm just rolling 1 and 2s instead of anything else.
I think the last game was really the pinnacle of bad luck.
Yeah,
which was pretty insane.
Mm.
There were a lot of misses for shots you should have hit.
Yeah,
and
and that's another thing to take into account, is that, like, if you like games where you can eliminate as much luck as possible, and you don't want the dice to decide things,
this is not the game.
That's not the game. Like, if let's say you're really a fan of Gloomhaven, where it's very tactical and you can eliminate luck to a certain degree. You can't do that here.
No, not at all. Luck plays a
big part.
You can be tactical, but you can also be unfortunate.
Yeah, which I was.
And for me, part of the fun is in that.
I agree.
You can, of course, as a beginner, it's not necessarily that much fun to just see your gang get wiped out because you get unlucky.
Again and again.
But there is also something really funny about trying to like throw a grenade, but then have the grenade blow up in your hand and take out like your own guys.
Absolutely.
But I think you have to be aware that this is not going to be the deepest tactical experience you're ever going to experience in a tabletop game.
Have you played XCOM where you're going to shoot someone? You're standing next to them and it says 96% chance to hit them, and then your guy shoots up in the air.
Yeah.
You have moments like that.
Exactly.
Here.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. You do.
And one of the things I also want to mention, one game just like doesn't take a lot of time necessarily.
Not necessarily. It can.
It can.
But if you're
none of our games have been very long.
No, but
except for the
if you're used to the rules, and you have an idea, and I mean, we got unlucky, and your guys just ran off.
They ran away because that can happen as well.
Yeah. Speaking of bad luck, I mean, at the first chance, your guys decided that they were going to get a bit shaky, and then your leader ran away.
And that's something you have to roll for as well.
Yeah.
And when my leader ran away, then it was kind of...
Yeah. And then another guy ran off.
Yeah.
And it was kind of... Yeah, it was very unlikely, but it happened. It's not... The chance is higher than 0.
Yeah. But that's also part of fun. A lot of... Like, anything can happen, really.
Yeah, because that's... Yeah. Yeah, it kind of is. But you have to be aware that stuff like that happens.
Yeah. And as Jahn also mentioned, the gangs are very different from one another. My guys are like pretty, I don't know, like well equipped with guns and shields and stuff, and they remind me of like they're enforcers and kind of I get a bit of like a Judge Dredd vibe from this.
Yeah, they're like the private police force kind of guys. My guys are cultists. They deal with they're butchers. There's not a lot of animals on Necromunda, but there are butchers.
There are butchers because they don't look like humans. They look like monsters.
Oh, they are people.
They used to be people.
No, well, they are people. Still are.
Oh,
they're just they're they're not very nice people.
No, they're not very nice.
And they're not the typical gangs either. Because the typical gangs,
Escher,
Goliath, Delac, Orlok, Fansar.
How many gangs do you have? How many factions?
Ooh, many. So the regular gangs, I believe, are 6. And then there's the Palanite Enforcers and the Corpse Grinder cults. And then you have the Ash Waste Nomads. And then you can also play Gene Stealer cults or Chaos cults. And they are technically not Necromunda figures. They're not labeled as Necromunda figures. They're Warhammer 40k figures. But you can use certain of those figures in Necromunda. And then there are the Spires, which are like these rich people from Necromunda that have all this high-end technology that just go down to slum it and kill a bunch of working people. And then, of course, you also have the Venators, the bounty hunters or rebels or whatever it might be. They're just... Venators is simply, if you have a cool concept, you just use the rules for those guys.
All right, just another question.
So
you said like, so again, like this is way deep underground and everything, and it's on a planet. Do you know the name of the planet?
Necromunda.
Necromunda is a planet. Oh,
I mean, technically it's above ground, but it's just far down in the Hive City.
Yeah, and when is this like? Just because I don't have that much knowledge about all the different Warhammer stuff, so. When is this in the timeline near Warhammer 40k?
It's in the Warhammer 40k
timeline. Okay, it's not like a little bit before. The technology and everything is on par with the Warhammer
I mean,
40K.
there's references to the Necromunda spiders, which is I was going to say Imperial Guard Regiment. It's called Astra Militarum now. And that the Imperial Fist Space Marines recruit from Necromunda, apparently.
Because
Allegedly.
they're making weapons and bullets and stuff that they send to the Empire or something. I heard something about that.
Well, they sort of they do what they call slag mining, because it used to be a mining planet, and if you know anything about mining, slag is what's left after you refine ore. So they go through the trash essentially. And they live off of what they call corpse starch. Which
nice. Sounds lovely.
Yes. Like I said, there's not that many animals in Necromunda.
Wow. Yeah. Cool. All right. So, anything else to bring up on this? So you would say on accessibility, it's not the easiest game, but it's not that hard either.
Well, I kind of would put accessibility on relatively low.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have to read up on where you want to start. Which, if you played Necromunda, in the old days, in the 90s maybe, and you want to get back into it, well, then you have to get the core rulebook, and you have to get one of the boxes of the gang. True. Because if you get the starter kits, you're going to get, for example, the current newest one, I believe, is House Secundus, which is a little bit different from regular Necromunda, where they sort of go into one of the other hive cities and they hunt gene stealer cultists. So it's not very obvious how to start the game.
Yeah, okay.
And it does require a lot more effort than a regular board game. So I'd say the accessibility is relatively low for people outside of the Warhammer community. Yeah.
You have to join the Warhammer cult.
Yeah.
It's a cult.
It is.
But that is also, like, as you say, you have to get a lot of things in order to get everything you need. But that's pricey.
It is. But, I mean, you can also just get a starter box and play what comes from the starter box. If you don't
and then you go and buy a lot of stuff afterwards.
If you don't know anything about Necromunda and you just want to try something, then just getting the current starter box is gonna.
And that's not going to be as big as this thing here. It's like
the current one I think is about the same.
That's also a big dedication.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
So kind of depends on what you like.
Yeah, it does.
But if you do like tactical combat games, strategy games with a lot of different things you can do and a lot of different stuff that can happen randomly.
So much stuff.
I would say this is absolutely worth checking out.
Yeah. I mean, just as an example, you can find rare equipment. There's rolling to see if you can come across, difficult to find or even illegal stuff. You can have your gang join a cult. There's so much.
You can accidentally run into tentacle monsters.
Yeah, there's tentacle monsters can show up. There's a mission where you're hunting a cyborg. There's all sorts of stuff. And this is without putting vehicles into it.
So these things are really cool in my opinion, and that would draw me in. I was going to say one final thing. Yeah. Also, as we mentioned, you get so much. You can get a lot out of this if you're playing the campaign, because from one game to the next, you get experience points.
Yeah.
You can use that to upgrade your characters, as I think you mentioned this earlier. But what happens just very briefly, after one combat?
Yeah, after one game.
After one game,
essentially, you'll get experience points during the game. You might gain or lose reputation.
Yeah, I lost a lot of a reputation.
Yeah, well, I can't go below 0.
Yeah. And there are also loot boxes.
There are loot boxes
that you can get hold of, and
you can use them during the game, or maybe they are trapped. Who knows?
It depends on the scenarios as well. Yeah,
you can get them. I mean, you have. Out of the resources you get, there's experience points, there's credits, and there's reputation.
So in that sense, the more you play the campaign, and the longer you play, and the further you get into the campaign, the more interesting it's going to get.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are going to pick up injuries. They're going to pick up new skills or
Yeah.
abilities. They're going to have improved stats, reduced stats.
Some of my guys were eliminated. Not eliminated, but they get a penalty where that one guy couldn't come in the next fight.
Yeah,
next game, he would have to sit on the bench.
Yeah, a lot of times when people get injured, they don't get to fight the next match.
But can your characters get permanently killed and be out? They can.
Oh yeah.
What do I do if I don't have any more guys? Then the campaign is done and
you're pretty much out. But that would be very, very rare.
Okay. But hey, everything that has happened in all our 4 games before it happens is it's probably not going to happen. It's very, very rare.
Yeah,
I don't buy that.
That's true. It's possible, but it's not likely.
No.
It's entirely possible, but it's possible that your gang gets so injured that you decide that.
Screw it.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Just start a new gang.
And that's the thing. Like when he wins every game we have, his gang will become better than my gang that loses every time.
Yeah.
So, as you said, you need a lot of experience points to upgrade things, but at a certain level, that difference is going to be so big that you might want to reset and start over.
Yeah, maybe. And that's sort of the downside to playing 2 players. But there are a little equalizers in the tactics cards.
Nice, you mentioned that.
Which is another rule.
Yeah, can you very quickly mention that too?
Yeah, so you have these tactics cards, and the mission you play will dictate how many you use, and whether you choose them or whether you randomly draw them. And if there's a difference in gang ratings, then the lower rated gang will typically get to draw a couple of those, either pick or randomly draw. And they can be pretty important.
Pretty cool things they could be used for.
Yeah.
I think that covers everything for a first impressions video and probably more.
Yeah, that's a pretty long video.
Yeah, I think we've gone longer than we intended with this, but that's the thing. There's a lot to talk about.
There is a lot. Yeah.
So, final thing: would you recommend this? It comes back to everything we've talked about so far.
Yeah, that's the problem. Would I recommend it? I don't honestly know. It depends on who.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me to say, would I just generally recommend people to pick up this game? I might say no, because I think it's certainly not for everyone. Not everybody would enjoy this.
No.
And also, if you sort of buy it as a gift for someone, and they open it, and it's just you have to put everything together.
Yeah, and they're not going to use it, and
it can be very overwhelming if you don't know what you're going to or what you're going to find.
But again, a lot of people buy the sets and they assemble them and paint them as a hobby. So if this is something that kind of appeals to you, either the painting and the hobby part or the playing of the miniatures game, or maybe even both, then this is cooler than most other stuff you're going to find.
Yeah, and you also use relatively few miniatures.
Yeah.
So even though the terrain might take a while to assemble and paint, it's not necessarily more time consuming than terrain for other miniature games. If you wanted to get into miniature games.
If you want to get into miniature games.
Yeah,
that's exactly
games.
the thing.
Yeah. But a typical miniature game might use, if you're playing Warhammer 40k, you might use at least 50-60 miniatures in an army.
Yeah.
Well, this is how many is this? 6 for me and 8 for you. Was that it?
I think so. Something around there.
So the gangs will probably grow to be bigger than that if you play campaign, but
not that much bigger.
No, and there are certainly other games in this genre of not using too many miniatures. Sure, but
I would also say it kind of depends what you like, and if you want to get into miniature games like Warhammer 40k, or
there are many.
There's so many miniature games, but the fact that you don't have that many figures and you have a box with a campaign like this, I would say that's a draw for me.
Yeah, sure.
Because then you don't have all that much to focus on in the beginning. You have your 5-6 miniatures, and then you play, and then you learn them, and you get can play this a lot before you're kind of finished with it.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a bit focused, and I like that. So
Yeah.
for me, who haven't played that many miniatures games, I think Dark Uprising is the really perfect way to get into miniatures games, and also Warhammer, Necromunda.
Yeah, maybe. For me, I would probably recommend other games for
Yeah.
someone who won't get into it, like Dead Zone, for example, because
Well,
it
but I'm
also...
not familiar with that many.
No, exactly. But it uses a similar-ish
Mm.
number of miniatures. It has a similar idea, but the rule sets are smoother, less complicated, and probably more beginner-friendly.
Mm.
I do think that for me, this is the game, though.
Yeah. So setting and atmosphere adds a lot to it for me.
Yeah.
Okay, our honest opinion after 4 games.
Yeah.
So that's it, guys.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do more Halloween videos. We're gonna probably do like simpler stuff and board games, Halloween themed board games as usual.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Thanks for stopping by, and check out what we have in store in October. Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of cool stuff in October. Hopefully. Cheers.
Cheers.
Shakakapow.
Shakakapow.
Till next time.
Filmer jo.
Nej, det går bra. Det får vara.
Undergang. Well, velkommen til the one-man show.